Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Givaradhari Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Yashodanandana Vrijana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrijana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrijana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanshari Yamuna Tira Vanshari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Givaradhari Jana Vallabha Givaradhari Yashodanandana Vrijana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanshari Yamuna Tira Vanshari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Jai Om Vishnupad Parasparacharya Stotra Satyas Divine Grace Abhaisharan Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Parasparacharya Stotra Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj Ki Jai Srimad Bhagavad Puran Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, Thakur Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 55, Text 12. Ratir Uvacha Bhavannarayana Sutta Sambharena Hito Grahat Sambharena Hita Grahat Aham te adhikrita patni Aham te adhikrita patni Rati khamo bhavan prabhu Rati khamo bhavan prabhu Ratirvacha Bhavannarayana Sutta Sambharena Hita Grihet Aham te adhikrita patni Rati kamo bhavan prabhu. Hare Krishna. Ratirvacha Bhavannarayana Sutta Sambharena Hito Grahan Aham te adhikrita patni Rati kamo bhavan prabhu. Hare Krishna. Divya Akashvani. Rati Vacha. Rati said, Bhavan, you, Narayana Sutta, the son of Lord Narayana, Sambharena, by Sambara, Hita, stolen, Grihat, from your home, Aham, I, Te, your, Adhikrita, legitimate, Patni, wife, Rati, Rati, Kama, Cupid, Bhavan, you, Prabhu, O Master. Translation. Rati said, you are the son of Lord Narayana and were kidnapped from your parents' home by Sambara. I, Rati, am your legitimate wife, O Master, because you are Cupid. Hare Krishna. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Pada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Sha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam Shah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnubhyo Namo Namah. The title of this chapter, 10th, chapter 44, verse 12, is the history of Pradyumna. In this translation it says, Rati is the wife of Pradyumna. You are the son of Lord Narayana and were kidnapped from your parents' home by Sambara. I, Rati, am your legitimate wife, O Master, because you are Cupid. So here, particularly in this verse, Rati is informing Pradyumna that actually you are my husband and I am your legitimate wife. And you are Cupid. You are Cupid. So this chapter, history of Pradyumna. Pradyumna was the son of Lord Krishna. His mother was Rukmini. And in previous life, Pradyumna was Cupid. He was reborn as Pradyumna. And Pradyumna was burnt to ashes. Pradyumna, when he was a Cupid, he was burnt to ashes by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva got angry upon him and burned him to ashes. And he was actually a part and parcel of Vasudeva, expansion of Vasudeva. And he was reborn as Pradyumna, as the son of Lord Krishna. And when Sambara, Idli Sambara, very popular. This demon name is Sambara. What is Sambara? Sambara, it is Sambara, not Sambara. Sambara. Sambara was a demon and he knew that Pradyumna will be the cause of death. Cause of his death. When Pradyumna was born to Rukmini, Mother Rukmini, after 10 days, Sambara had kidnapped Pradyumna from the house of, from the maternity home, and he threw it in an ocean, and it was swallowed by a very large fish, and the fish was caught by the fishermen, and they were handed to the cook who was in Sambara's palace. And when the cook cut the fish, from that there was a child, and the child was handed over to Rati. Rati was a maid servant in Sambara's palace. And Narad Muni appeared at that moment and told Rati that in the previous life she was the husband of Kamadeva, Cupid, and now he is born as Rati because he was burned to ashes by Lord Shiva and is your husband. So when Rati came to know about it, hence Sambara had kidnapped him from the maternity home. So Rati became very joyful and she taught Pradyumna the art of mystic powers. Because Sambara knew all this magic and Rati, who was a maid servant who were in that palace, and she was previously the wife of Kamadev, Cupid. Pradyumna very quickly grew up, and Rati approached in a very conjugal love. And Pradyumna informed that you were showing maternal affection. Now, all of a sudden, how he came. Then she informed Pradyumna that in a previous life, you were Kamadev, and you were burnt to ashes, and Sambara kidnapped you from the maternity home. And she taught him all the mystic powers, and Pradyumna approached Sambara and challenged him for a fight. And he first chastised Sambara, and the Sambara got very furious, and he came out with all the weapons and started to fight with Pradyumna. He tried all his mystic powers, but Pradyumna had learnt the art from Rati, and Pradyumna had learned the art from Rati, and he killed Sambara. Thereafter, Rati took Pradyumna to the palace of Rukmini. She knew the art of flying in the sky. And she came to the palace of Krishna, and all the maids, all the gopis and the residents, they thought it to be Krishna. Pradyumna was resembling like Krishna. He was very beautiful. They were enchanted by the way. But then they recognized that he is not Krishna. And Lord Krishna, Rukmini also, when she saw Pradyumna, she had maternal affection to her son, because she was in anxiety that Pradyumna absence, and she came to know that Pradyumna, she remembered Pradyumna, he might have been born up like this, and natural material affection came to her. So in this verse particularly, it says, Rati saying, you are the son of Lord Narayana and were kidnapped from your parents' home by Sambara. I, Rati, am your legitimate wife, O master, because you are Cupid. So Krishna's name is Madan Mohana. Krishna is the enchanter of all Cupid. And Radharani's name is Madan Mohan Mohini. And Krishna is enchanted by Radharani. Especially when Cupid arrows in material world become disturbed by the Cupid arrows. Everybody is under the grip of lusty desires, whether it's man or woman. That's what material world is. Wherever you turn, you face attraction between man and woman is very prominent. Now it's only cars, not men. Wherever you turn, there's cars. There's cars you like. Anyway, Kamadev. Yeah, so Cupid arrows. Cupid arrows, when one is Krishna consciousness, Cupid arrows cannot affect. So Krishna conscious is very high stage, because one has to become Krishna conscious, jnana and vairagya, knowledge. When he develops knowledge, then vairagya comes, renunciation, knowledge of Krishna. So this material world, we are not the body, we are the soul. And Lord Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. He is the controller of this universe. All this different universe manifests from him under his direction. And the living entity is the eternal servant of Krishna. And the false ego is very great. So first, to understand that we are not the body, we are spirit soul. That's the beginning of Bhagavatam. That's by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. That's a recommended process in this age of Kali Yuga, chanting. We have to chant more and more chanting. Then the effect of Cupid arrows won't affect us. When we'll be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Come, you won't have any effect. So I was saying what? Yes. So the knowledge of the soul, then comes the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the creator of this universe, who is from him unlimited universes. Three things here now. I'm an eternal servant of Krishna, Jivere Sutu, Nitya Krishna Das, and be free from false ego. This is knowledge, if you understand things like that. So Krishna consciousness, become Krishna consciousness. This is a beautiful pastimes, Pradyumna born to Krishna and Rukmini. And in this previous chapter we learned many things where many about Rukmini married to Lord Krishna. In that particular Rukmini had heard about Krishna. So one has to hear about Krishna very attentively. This is the spiritual life. Hearing is very important. Hearing Krishna Katha with full attention. Then we can develop knowledge. So in the previous chapters, there were a lot of points like that. Rukmini heard about Krishna. She heard from the sages who had visited the palace. She heard from Narad Muni, very exalted devotees. One should associate with the advanced devotees in spiritual life in order to progress in spiritual life. She heard from, and the Brahmana was very honored by Lord Krishna, and he got up from his golden seat and he gave him all respects. He offered him nice clothes, nice gifts, nice charity. So this was the second thing. And all the residents, the father of Rukmini was arranged for all the marriage ceremony. He decorated the palace, city very nicely. It was cleansed very nicely. So that's we sing in the temple. Vigra Aratna Nitya Nana Shringaratan Mandir Marjanado. Marjana, cleaning of the temples. So there's internal cleanliness, there's external cleanliness. Externally, then like the residents also, they were very joyful. They told that all their pious deeds, might go to Rukmini and she get married to Krishna. They also wished and they were very joyful. They dressed them very nicely. So when we approach Krishna, one has to be clean, very nicely dressed. So this is the second thing. And there were nice paraphernalias offered to Krishna. And the atmosphere was very made nicely. And how Bhishmaka, the father of Rukmini, had arranged for all the nice facilities for the guest. How he gave respects to all the guests, and even Lord Krishna, though Bhishmaka, the father of Rukmini, wanted Rukmini to marry to Krishna, but because of his affection to his elder son Rukmi, because Rukmi was envious of Krishna. So this one thing is enviousness. One should not be envious of the Lord or his devotees, because the Lord is within everyone's heart as super soul. One has to become, in order to progress in spiritual life, one has to become free from enviousness. And that's a block in our spiritual life. And all these envious demons, they were all envious of Krishna and they all got together. So that's the tendency of demonic. In Kali Yuga, the demonic tendency will increase as Kali Yuga progresses. Because we can see that Ravana also was born in a Brahmin family, Hiranyakashipu. But they were very demonic-like. And we see in this pastimes also that in previous pastimes, all the demons had got together. Jarsanda, Dantavakra, Samba, Salva. And Paundraka, the king. And they opposed Krishna. But they were all defeated because Balarama came in support of Krishna. He knew on the Yadus and this. And thereafter, the residents of Dwarka also, they were also very running here and there because they saw Rukmini they heard about Rukmini's past Rukmini, how Krishna had kidnapped, and they were glorifying Krishna with songs. So glorifying Krishna with songs, how we can see from the residents of Dwarka, they were all glorifying. These were the few things, few points we can learn from these previous chapters. And now we can go to this Pradyumna born to Krishna and Rukmini. It is said that Cupid, who is directly part and parcel of Lord Vasudeva and was formerly burnt to ashes by the anger of Lord Shiva, took birth from the womb of Rukmini, begotten by Krishna. So Cupid is directly part and parcel of Lord Vasudeva, and he was burnt to ashes by the anger of Lord Shiva. And then he was reborn in the womb of Rukmini and begotten by Krishna. So this Kamadeva, a demigod of the heavenly planets, especially capable of inducing lusty desires. So it says here, this Kamadeva, a demigod of the heaven planets, especially capable of inducing lusty desires. They are provoking lusty desires. But there's nice prayers in Brahma Samhita. What's that? Kamadeva. Yeah, Krishna is served by thousands of gopis, like he's free from lustful propensities. Yeah. Krishna, this is Kamadeva, a demigod of the heavenly planet, especially capable of inducing lusty desires. The Supreme Person God has many grades of part and parcel. Quadruple expansion of Krishna, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. They are part and parcel. Are directly in the Vishnu category. Kama or Cupid demigod, who later took his birth from the Rukmini, was also named Pradyumna, but he cannot be Pradyumna of the Vishnu category. So Kamadeva, he cannot be considered in the Vishnu category. He belongs to the category of Jivatma. For exhibiting special power in the category of demigods, he was part and parcel of the super prowess of Pradyumna. He belongs to the category, but for exhibiting special power in the category of demigods, he was a part and parcel of the super prowess of Pradyumna. That is the verdict of the Goswamis. Therefore, when Cupid was burnt to ashes by the anger of Lord Shiva, he merged into the body of Vasudeva. So when Cupid was burnt to ashes by the anger, he merged into the body and got his body again. He was begotten in the womb of Rukmini by Lord Krishna himself. Thus he was born as the son of Krishna and celebrated by the name Pradyumna. Because he was begotten by Lord Krishna directly, his qualities were most similar to those of Krishna. So all the qualities, because Pradyumna was Cupid, Kamdeva, one of the demigods, he was burned by the ashes of by the anger of Lord Shiva, is burned to ashes. But he was again reborn as Pradyumna, son of Rukmini, and was begotten by Lord Krishna. So there was a demon of the name Sambara, who was destined to be killed by Pradyumna. The Sambara knew of his destiny, and as soon as he learned that Pradyumna had been born, he took the shape of a human and kidnapped the baby from the maternity home less than 10 days after his birth. So this demon, Sambara, he knew the art to change his personalities like that. He kidnapped this child from the maternity home less than 10 days. He took a shape of a woman. So this art, black magic, this was different. This was mystic powers. He learned. He was born shaped woman. He kidnapped the baby from the maternity less than 10. The demon took him and threw directly into the sea. We can find this black magic still it's in India, some parts of India. They perform this black magic. It's very dangerous. They know the art. Like suppose one person is wealthy or he's progressing materially, then how we can make him down by the art of magic like that. The people approach them and then they make him down like giving some mantras like that. Similarly, here also Sambara knew the art, but he knew the art of how to turn his personality. He took the shape of woman and kidnapped Pradyumna. As he said, whoever is protected by Krishna, no one can kill, and who is destined to be killed by Krishna, no one can protect. When Pradyumna rakhe Krishna, mare Krishna. If Krishna wants to protect somebody, then nobody can kill him. And if Krishna wants him to be killed, then nobody can protect him. Whoever is protected by Krishna, no one can kill, and who is destined to be killed by. So that's what Bhagavad Gita says. Sarva dharman parityagya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Just surrender unto me, Krishna says. I will free you from all sinful reaction. When Pradyumna was thrown into the sea, a big fish immediately swallowed him. Later, fish was caught in a net of fishermen, and the fish was later sold to Sambara demon. In the kitchen of the demon was a maid servant whose name was Mayavati. This woman had formerly been the wife of Cupid called Rati. When the fish was present to the demon Sambara, it was taken charge of by his cook. So we heard before that how Sambara kidnapped Cupid. Sambara kidnapped the child from he took the form of woman, and he took Pradyumna and threw him into the sea, and it was eaten by a large fish. And that fish, and the fishermen had caught this, and they had handed this fish in the kitchen, and the maid servant, she took care of the child, and this child happened to be Pradyumna. Demons and Rakshasa are accustomed to eating meat, fish, and similar non-vegetarian foods. Demons like Ravana, Kamsa, and Hiranyakashipu, although born of a Brahmana and Kshatriya fathers, used to take meat and fish without discrimination. This practice is still prevalent in India, and those who eat meat and fish are generally called demons and Rakshasas. Hare Krishna. So in Kali Yuga, you won't find any purity also, like even a saintly person cannot be pure like in this world, like very rare. Or this purity is not there like that. He says demons like Ravana, Kamsa, and Hiranyakashipu, although born of a Brahmana and Kshatriya fathers, used to take meat and fish without discrimination. This practice is still prevalent in India. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's special mercy, he says that Tara Shakshi Jagai Madai Harinama Uddhari Loi. By the holy name one can be delivered. That's proof is Jagai and Madai. So this is the special benediction of Mahaprabhu, his Mahavadani avatar. Srila Prabhupada gave us this process of Krishna consciousness. Here it says, demons like Ravana, Kamsa, and Hiranyakashipu, although born of a Brahmana and Kshatriya fathers, used to take meat and fish without discrimination. This practice is still prevalent in India. And those who eat meat and fish are generally called demons and Rakshasas. When the cook, Srila Prabhupada came to the West and purified. He was chanting Hare Krishna, is very Mahabhagavat, and people were attracted. So that's what he says, Bhagavat, book Bhagavat and person Bhagavat. One should approach a person Bhagavat whose life is Bhagavat, his life is Krishna. He says, Jnana Vairagya, means everything has to be done for the pleasure of Krishna. If you work for Krishna. If you cook for Krishna's pleasure. Everything has to be connected to Krishna. That's Krishna consciousness. Like when the cook was cutting the fish, he found within its stomach a nice baby, which he immediately presented to charge of Mayavati, who was an assistant in the kitchen affairs. This woman was surprised to see how such a nice baby could remain with the belly of a fish, and the situation perplexed her. The great sage Narada then appeared and explained to her about the birth of Pradyumna and how the baby had been taken away by Sambara and later thrown into the sea. In this way, the whole story was disclosed to Mayavati. So Narad Muni approached Rati when Rati was perplexed when she saw the child, and she revealed that this was your husband before you. So in this story, the whole was disclosed to Mayavati, knew that she had previously been Rati, the wife of Cupid. After her husband was burnt to ashes by the wrath of Lord Shiva, she was always expecting him to come back in material form. This woman was engaged for cooking rice and dal in the kitchen. But when she got this nice baby, understood that he was Cupid, her own husband, she naturally took charge of him with great affection, began to bath him regularly. Miraculously, the baby swiftly grew up, and within a very short period, he became a very beautiful young man. His eyes were just like the petals of lotus flowers, and his arms were long, reaching down to his knees. Any woman who happened to see him was captivated by his bodily beauty. So anybody who saw Pradyumna, they were attracted by his Cupid beauty. Mayavati could understand that her former husband Cupid was born as Pradyumna had grown into such a nice young man, and she also gradually became captivated and lusty. Smiling before him with a feminine attraction, she expressed her desire for sexual union. He therefore inquired from her, how is it possible that first you were affectionate like a mother, now you are expressing the symptoms of a lusty woman? What is the reason for such a change? Hearing this statement from Pradyumna, the woman Rati replied, my dear son, you are the son of Lord Krishna. Before you were 10 days old, you were stolen by the Sambara demon and later thrown into the water and swallowed by a fish. In this way you have come under my care. But actually in your former life as Cupid, I was your wife. Therefore my manifestation of conjugal symptoms is not at all incompatible. Sambara wanted to kill you and he is endowed with various mystic powers. Therefore, before he again attempts to kill you, please kill him as soon as possible with your divine power. Since you were stolen by Sambara, your mother Rukmini Devi has been very in grievous condition, like a Kurari bird who has lost her baby. She is very affectionate toward you. And since you were taken from her, she has been living like a cow, aggrieved over the loss of its calf. So we hear this, how Rati informs Pradyumna that he was previous birth as sick. He was her husband, and now he is born as Pradyumna, and she teaches him the art of the magic, and she informs that Sambara had kidnapped, and before he becomes powerful, you kill him that. At Pradyumna, the demon Sambara being insulted felt just as snake feels after being stuck by someone's foot. A serpent cannot tolerate being kicked by another animal or by a man. It immediately bites its opponent. So this is one example is given. Pradyumna, he says, Mayavati had mystic knowledge of supernatural. Supernatural power generally known as Maya, and to surpass all such powers there is another supernatural power called Mahamaya. Mayavati had mystic knowledge of supernatural powers. Supernatural powers are generally known as Maya. And surpass all such powers, there is another supernatural power that is called Mahamaya. When it says supernatural powers are generally Maya. And to surpass that power, there is a supernatural power called Mahamaya. And Mayavati had the knowledge of the mystic of Mahamaya. So Sambara had the knowledge of Maya, but Rati had the mystic power of Mahamaya. Thus being empowered by wife, Pradyumna immediately went to Sambara and challenged him to fight. Pradyumna addressed him in a very strong language, so that his temper would be agitated and he would move to fight. At Pradyumna's word, the demon Sambara being insulted felt just as snake feels after being stuck by someone's foot. So Sambara felt very insulted, like the example is given as snakes. We can, in village also when we go, people inform us, you have to be careful at night while you walk. There's snakes Similarly here also, this demon Sambara, he says here, at Pradyumna's word, the demon Sambara being insulted felt just snake feels after being struck by someone's foot. A serpent cannot tolerate being kicked by another animal or by a man, and immediately bites its opponent. The nature of snakes are enemies, they bite like that. Sambara felt the words of Pradyumna as if they were a kick. He immediately took his club in his hand and appeared before Pradyumna to fight. Roaring like a thundering cloud in great anger, the demon began to beat Pradyumna with his club, just as a thunderbolt beats a mountain. Pradyumna protected himself with his own club and eventually struck the demon very severely. In this way, the fighting between Sambara and Pradyumna began in earnest. But Sambara knew the art of mystic powers and could raise himself into the sky and fight from outer space. There is a demon of the name Maya, and Sambara had learned many mystic powers from him. He thus raised himself high into the sky and threw various types of nuclear weapons at the body of Pradyumna. So he raised his club, he fought with Pradyumna, and then again he knew the art of Maya. He raised himself into the sky and threw nuclear weapons on Pradyumna. Then Pradyumna invoked another mystic power known Mahavidya, which was different from the black mystic power. The Mahavidya mystic power is based on the quality of goodness. Sambara, understanding this enemy was formidable, took assistance from various kinds of demonic mystic powers belonging to Giya. Sambara, understanding that enemy was formidable, took assistance from various kinds of demonic mystic powers belonging to Guyakas and Kandravas, the Pisachas, the snakes and Rakshasas. But although the demon exhibited his mystic powers and took shelter of supernatural strength, Pradyumna was able to counter his strength and powers by the superpower of Mahavidya. So Sambara was using the Maya mystic powers, he was throwing different weapons, and then finally he threw the nuclear weapons like different art of magic, black magic. But Pradyumna had learned the art of Mahamystic, that was on goodness. But Sambara took various demonic mystic powers like Guyaka, Gandharva, Pishacha, Snake, Rakshasa. But although the demon exhibited mystic powers and shook shelter of supernatural strength, Pradyumna was able to counter his strength and power by superpower Mahavidya. When Sambara was defeated in every respect, Pradyumna took his sharp sword and immediately cut off the demon's head, which was decorated with a helmet and valuable jewels. When Pradyumna was thus killed the demon, all the demigods in higher planetary systems showered flowers to him. Pradyumna's wife Mayavati could travel in outer space, and therefore they directly reached Dwarka, his father's capital, by the airways. They passed above the palace of Lord Krishna and came down as a cloud comes down with lightning. The inner section of a palace is known as Antapura, private apartment. Pradyumna and Mayavati could see many women there, and they sat down among them. When the women saw Pradyumna dressed in yellowish garments, with very long curly hair, beautiful red, smiling face, jewelry and ornaments, they at first could not recognize him as a person different from Krishna. They felt bashful at the sudden presence of Krishna and wanted to hide in a different corner of the palace. When the women saw, however, that not all the chariot Lord Krishna present in the person of Pradyumna, out of curiosity they began to back to see him and his wife Mayavati. All of them were conjecturing as to who he was, for he was so beautiful. Among the women was Rukmini Devi, who was equally beautiful with her lotus eyes. Seeing Pradyumna, she naturally remembered her own son, and milk began to flow from her breast. Out of motherly affection, she then began to wonder, who is the beautiful young boy? He appears to be the most beautiful person. Who is the fortunate young man, able to convince this nice boy in her womb and become his mother? And who is that young woman who has accompanied him? How have they met? Remembering my own son who has stolen from the maternity home, I can guess if he is living somewhere, he might have grown by this time to be this boy. So Pradyumna remembered of his son, that how he was kidnapped from the maternity home, and when she saw Pradyumna, she had the natural material affectionate motherly affection. And all the other women, because Pradyumna was Cupid, they were attracted to her, but when they observed properly, Pradyumna, because resembled like similarly, he had the qualities of Krishna, they saw he did not have the full qualities of Krishna. And then Krishna, along with his father Devaki, and was appeared on the sea. So they were all happy. They have begotten their son. All the family members, Devaki, Vasudha, Krishna, and Balarama. This is beautiful. Krishna is having a son. No, Krishna is not. Pradyumna is here son of Krishna. But generally devotees, we address Krishna with his devotee's name. The Lord is more pleased when you name along with his devotees. Like when you say Radha Krishna, Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, Partha Sarthi. They are always connected because Lord is more pleased when you glorify him with Lord Krishna's name. Like, very beautiful. In general, yeah, because the relationship, for son accepts the service from parents. The son is, the parents tolerate all his mischievous activities. But, so Krishna also similarly gives miseries, but a devotee tolerates all the miseries. So this relationship is very nice between son and mother, like Krishna is performing this wonderful, the parents. God. So we can have God as son. That's a very high stage, like that, topmost here. Here it is. So there are many instances, like Devaki got Krishna as a son, Mother Yashoda got as a son, Sachi Mata also got Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as son. So Lord Chaitanya is the propagator of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So it was this Hare Krishna mantra, Lord Krishna himself gave this mantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in this age of Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. So we can become Krishna consciousness by chanting Hare Krishna. One should chant constantly Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One should associate with people those who are attached to chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This Mahamantra is very powerful. Like we have this Zoom program now, Brahmacharis also we had got in the Zoom program and the chanting of Hare Krishna. So nice it is. So many devotees, serious devotees taking part of this. This chanting of Hare Krishna in this age is very powerful medicine. Therefore, when in initiation, this is given the first thing, chant 16 rounds, follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, become free from sinful life. More one is free from sinful life, more he can progress in Krishna consciousness. He can advance with Krishna. Because material world means kama. Spiritual world means free from kama. So we hear from this Cupid arrows, like Cupid arrows can bother a person who is not Krishna consciousness, but one who has surrendered to Krishna, the Cupid arrows cannot, because Krishna is the master of all Cupid. Krishna, there is Sahasra, they are all serving Krishna, but Krishna is not. Krishna is the enchanter of enchanter. And Madan Mohan Mohini is Radharani's name one, and he is also enchanted by Radharani. Very nice here. So we God as your son. There are so many instances, like Devaki got Krishna as a son, Mother Yashoda got God as a son, Sachi Mata also got Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's son. So this is better philosophy than to accept God as father. That is especially in the Vaishnava. So this is very, we have different relationship with Krishna. So one of this, like Krishna, the devotee accepts Krishna. Any comments, any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for this class. You mentioned that Pradyumna is a Jiva Tattva, and but in the starting of the chapter it mentioned that Krishna's expansion Pradyumna, that same Pradyumna is appearing as Krishna's son. Is this like in the same body Vishnu Tattva and Jeev Tattva residing? Or
Yes, in Krishna book it says Jiva Tattva, like it is different commentaries by Acharyas. So we accept it that like that, in that sense.
I asked because I also remembered, like in Advaita Acharya they say Mahavishnu and Sadashiv and Haridas Thakur, they say they're also different.
So what's your question?
In same body, these two Jeev Tattva and Vishnu Tattva are residing.
Jeev Tattva, Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva means comes in like Lord, but Lord comes as a devotee. It's like Jeev Tattva, like that it says. Lord comes as a devotee means here in particularly you are saying of Pradyumna. Pradyumna was previous Kamdeva, Cupid. So he was in Jeev Tattva, he's not in Vishnu Tattva. Then he entered to Vasudeva and appeared as Vasudeva's ex-mind, like that, Pradyumna, like that. And here if we say, the Acharyas are giving the comment on this here. Yeah, I'll repeat the same word. Yeah. Krishna and many grades of part and parcel, but the quadruple expense of Krishna, Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna and Anuruddha are directly in the Vishnu category. So there are quadruple expansion, that is Vasudeva, Shankarshan, Pradyumna and Anuruddha. But Kama or the Cupid demigods, who later took his birth from the womb of Rukmini, was also named Pradyumna, but he cannot be Pradyumna of the Vishnu category. He belongs to the category of Jiva Tattva. But for exhibiting special power in the category of demigods, he was a part and parcel of the superpowers of Pradyumna. He was a part and parcel of superpowers of Pradyumna. That is the verdict of the Goswamis. We have to accept what Sadhu says. Shastra says like that. Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. Because we have 4 defects, commit mistakes, our senses are imperfect, we are illusion and cheating tendency. The knowledge coming from Rakpara, we have to accept it as it is. Hare Krishna.
My apologies, I didn't hear the whole class, but you were reading a section of the different persons who played the role of mother. And in this case, Pradyumna had been given, or Cupid had been given to Mayavati. So she wasn't factually the mother. So she reared him in that role, but knowing full well that actually he was the same entity who had been her husband in a previous life. So there's that distinction. It's not actually her son.
Yeah, Narad Muni came and informed that previous life he was Cupid's husband, reveals him. Janma karma chabdme divyam. It says Vaishnava's activities cannot be known. Like similarly, Lord's activities also, they are all transcendental, very spiritual, like that. Total beneficial for the living entities. The more one hears Krishna, more one progress in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, this discussing of Krishna Katha, this wonderful pastimes, how he was previous Cupid and he was reborn as Pradyumna. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam Puran ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamudra.